Welcome to the Big Roofs Podcast, the podcast where we talk to successful roofing contractors and industry leaders about how you can build a bigger, better, more profitable roofing business. We're your hosts, John and AJ, and today's guest is Josh Henderson, owner of Patriot Roofing and Exteriors in Spokane, Washington. Did I get that right?
Said it right. You didn't say Spokane, which is,
Thanks for joining today, Josh.
hey, thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear more about your story. And I got to ask right off the bat, though, that you have the best beard of anyone I know by far. Do you
Thank
do
you.
you do like competitions or anything?
My barber keeps getting me, keeps trying to get me to do them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, something seems to always happen. And just at the stage of life I'm in, I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Things at 6 o'clock at night at a bar on a Friday are kind of hard to do when this industry already demands so much of our time.
Right. No, that makes sense.
So
Maybe
I've
some.
done a couple online. I've done a couple online things, and the first online competition I did, it was this bracket, and they pitted me against, like, you went one on one, and people voted, and the guy they pitted me against has been in like magazines as the world's best beard. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you you couldn't have let me go like one step ahead. You had to, like, this dude's gonna win it, and he won it. He won the
He
whole
was,
thing.
yeah.
But
Man,
yeah, I was like, man, you gotta be joking. But
that's a tough break. Yeah. Yeah, they put you right up against the top contender.
they just
Well, they
cut it
they
right
looked at
there.
your beard and they're like, they thought if anyone's gonna beat him, it's gonna be you.
It was weird though, because there was another dude who had like a comparable beard to that guy, and they didn't pit them against each other. They actually met in the finals, and there was another dude who had a beard about my size who they pitted against him. I'm like, that you're a little off there in your
Yeah. And yeah, that
face
bracket
off at the beginning in the
It's
bracket.
rigged. It was
bracket
rigged.
Was
rigged,
rigged.
rigged. Um, well, cool. So the big thing that I would love to just hear from you is just your story of getting into the roofing industry. I always feel like they're often reminiscent of each other, but they're also always unique. And so I just would love to hear that story. Most people, are not necessarily they don't grow up being like, I'm going to be a roofer. Maybe that was you, but it's not the most common. Usually there's a path that kind of meanders and wanders that gets you there. So I'd love to hear your story of how you ended up in roofing.
Roofing's weird. If you had asked me if this was what I was going to be doing, I would have told you no. My whole backstory was in banking. So I came up in the credit union world, in the banking world, and lending, and um, I have a degree in business. I like to tell people I have a BS degree, and so that's how it
Okay.
feels some days. and 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 I got offered a position to launch a credit union, take over in our market, and run a branch. And they offered it to me, and it was everything that I'd been working for. And I just felt so empty when they offered it to me. I'm like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life, is sit behind a desk. Like, I want to do more. I've always wanted to run my own business. I've loved sales. That was the other thing with the credit union world, was being a real driven individual with sales wise. Like, volume wise, I would do 3 million a month in volume, while my counterparts were doing 1 million. Like, I loved it. I was very competitive. But you didn't get compensated anymore for being competitive. So a local guy that was in my church owned a roofing company, and he was looking for a sales guy. I ended up going in, and he had zero training, and so I just YouTubed. I'm very thankful for Adam Benson and his YouTubes, because that's a lot of how I started my approach. But I got my first roof sold within 30 days, and just kind of
Wow.
took off from there. And I was not in a sales role for very long when the operations individual for the company parted ways. And me being pretty technical, it didn't make sense to drum up a whole pipeline of sales if there was no one to actually fulfill them. I'm going to look like, a schmuck of a salesman if I if I can't get these things ordered. So I stepped into an operations role and really just took in a lot of like Breakthrough Academy stuff. I think I went through every one of their podcasts and he had paid for that program, so I went through their program, and a lot of it is built for contractors that don't have a background in business, but it was definitely a great reminder, and really loved the business side of roofing. I kind of saw it I kind of saw the opportunity there for the business model of like you don't actually have to be a roofer to own a roofing company. Um, and the only reason I started thinking like that was I quickly found out why the other operations director left. And and so I parted ways with the company, and a year later, not a year later, but started kind of my own company, and a year later reached out to some of the subs that they were using they had tried to reach out to me, but I told them we got to wait a year before I'll use you. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. So banking to sales to running this guy's company. He was regional, so he was in 3 different states.
Mm.
Went through a storm. We had a colossal hailstorm during that time, so we were running 6 jobs a week, but stacked for
Yeah.
weeks, booked weeks out, and it was fun. I loved it. I love chaos. I thrive in chaos. My disc score. I'm someone who really loves chaos. It bores me to not be in chaos. Like if I don't have something going on, I don't know what I'm doing.
What's your disc score?
I have to pull it up. I have a whole. I think I'm a DI or DC.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a DI. Um,
I can't remember how. You have a primary and a secondary, right? Isn't that how it works? It's been so long
right,
since I took it.
right.
John, do you know do you know yours?
I totally forgot mine.
I
I think might be like a
my other
DS or
business
something.
coach put me through it. I'm gonna throw this computer out the window. It's just not working. But yeah, I'll have to look. I'll look it up. It's in my email. Got the whole big profile.
Yeah. I love personally I love personality. I love personality tests and stuff like that. Some of it's I think some of it can be really helpful. I think it becomes a problem sometimes when people are like, "Oh, well, I'm this, so therefore I get to act this terrible way." Like I think people can use
Mhm.
it as like an excuse, but it's really good as a tool to understand yourself too.
I
So
think it's good to understand yourself. I'm a DC. I'm sorry, not a DI. I'm a low I. I have zero I. Sorry. Sorry. Well, that's why I was like,
sorry
that
to the
sounds
eyes out
wrong.
there.
I'm high D, high C, and then S, and then like as low as you can go on I.
Yeah, that's cool. What
Well,
do it? Give us the quick rundown. What is each one again? D
so
is like
D is dominance.
yeah,
Um, I is influence. S is steadiness. C is compliance.
interesting. Yeah, cool. So high in D and high in C.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm high in D and S. I think we're mine too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most business owners are gonna have a high D, like typically. That's gonna be pretty.
Typically, every entrepreneur is going to have that D in there.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
you
That's
have
cool.
to.
Well, shout out to Disc. Anyone listening? Definitely a cool thing to take. Well, yeah, that is quite the story. So before the credit union, like, did you go to the credit union right out of college then? Was that
Yeah.
correct?
I worked at the credit union while getting my degree.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's straight
I
into there.
so my whole background, yeah, my dad owned a business. My grandfather, kind of that whole third generation. So my great grandfather bought the land, built the business. My grandfather built it to what it was, and then my dad took it over, and that third generation ruins it. And he ended up getting liver cancer and passed away. And by the time we kind of found out the level of his sickness, I was still in high school, so I couldn't really help him.
Mhm.
Um, and that's kind of what I thought I was going to do for my life, though, was his business was take it over. And
What
so
business was that?
he owned 3 different mobile home parks.
Oh, cool.
So it ended up being about 90 units in total. They were great, right on the waterfront
Yeah.
units, and um, I kind of had a dream of what I was going to do. So he passed. All that had to be sold for pennies on the dollar because he went full hippie and just decided not to pay his taxes.
Oh,
Um,
no.
so we had to get that squared away. And I was left like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? And so I was like, banking. I want to go into banking because if I ever get fired from banking, that means the world is going to hell anyway. And yeah,
That's true.
never got fired. I went down a different path and climbed that ladder, and yeah, could have continued. And it was not for me. I'm not a sit behind a desk person.
Yeah. What was the point where you realized that you were good at sales? Because it seems like you quickly rose, you kind of quickly got to where you're saying you're doing like
Yeah.
three times the amount of, um, three times the amount of of what your counterparts were doing. What was there a moment there where you're like, oh, like this is what I'm good at, or maybe best at?
I knew I was good at sales because before, so I didn't pursue my degree until I was kind of later in my 20s. So I spent like 18, 19, 20 kind of figuring it out. I ended up getting a certification for personal training. And so 21 and 22 and like 23, I think I was doing personal training.
Nice.
And that's when I knew I was in sales because I was the top seller. Um,
Oh yeah.
I was doing close to 80,000 a month in personal training and supplement sales. And
Nice.
I loved sales. It was one of those organizations though where they take your top salesman and they move you into a leadership position, giving you more tasks and responsibilities without actually paying you anymore, while still having to maintain being a top sales rep.
Mm,
And and yeah, they were just didn't work out there. So
that's
after that is
understandable.
when I went into banking.
When you ended banking, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Was it like with a gym, like a chain, or
Yeah, it was a big Globo gym,
nice?
but that's when I knew I was good at sales.
Yeah, was the
Was through that experience. So
personal training it can be hard. It's like, I guess, was it in person or you're like direct? Um,
mhm.
that I guess is a little not easier, but at least if someone's walking in the door, you know that they're interested, right?
Well, they had a great sales process. I'll give it to them. Like part of their process is every new membership gets 2 free sessions,
Mm,
and those sessions aren't what an actual training session looks like. They're a sales pitch. They're a multiple touch sales pitch. So
yeah,
that whole experience taught me learning a script, learning a process, following the process, trusting the company that's paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop a process.
yeah,
And that yeah, they would have me speak in front of guys and say, what are you doing that makes you the top sales rep? And I would hold up the book. I'm like, I'll literally read the script. I've got it memorized to the point now where it sounds like it comes from me.
yeah. And just like memorize the script until it no longer sounds like a script.
Right.
Yeah,
And we've done that. Like I've done that with whenever we go canvassing, like Adam Benson's Slack formula. Like that's great when you knock on a door, especially trying to explain it to a new rep. Like say hi, let them know why we're here, ask an open-ended question, present to the answer. Like it's so easy to teach and follow. And before you know it, you're not really thinking about, okay, say hi, let them know why I'm here. It just comes.
yeah, yeah. It just once you get that muscle memory. Yeah. I was gonna ask you like, what is your some of your biggest? Well, so yeah, let's talk about this. So you transitioned, you worked for your friend through church's company,
Mhm.
right? You went through that experience,
Yep.
and then that kind of fell apart, and you came out of that knowing both sides of the business, right? The sales and the production side. And
Hmm.
so, what was that trend? Like after that, did you just immediately know, like, oh, I got to do this for myself, or what was that decision making process like? Because I imagine there's probably guys that are listening to this podcast that are going to be like, I feel like I could run my own roofing business, or I'm working for someone else right now, or something like that. And so, like, what was that decision making process for you like?
I had burned the bridge of wanting to. I never wanted to be in a salary position. So when I took the job as a sales rep, that was a 1099 position. I was all in on raising the flag of doing this myself. And being a sales rep really gives you that freedom if you're at the right company. So um and then when I was in the operations role, I spent so much time learning the roofing industry. I mean, there's a book called Deep Work. I don't know if you've ever read that, but
Deep work.
it's a better audio book. I'll be honest with you. It's a hard
Better
read to get
audio.
through.
We're gonna
It's
add
a
this
better
to the
audio, but
notes though.
honestly, it's a good quick. It's a good quick one because the concept's easy to get a hold of. But basically, if you took 2 weeks and you committed 10 hours a day for 2 weeks to learning something, you're going to come out of it being pretty darn informed about it. And that's what I did for every waking moment I was there, Monday through Sunday, was just learn, absorb. So when we parted ways, there was no question in my mind of what was going to happen next. It was like, I'm going to start my own company. I'm doing this. I know how to do this. I know how to run a business. There's nothing special about a roofing company. We're a marketing company. We're a sales and marketing company that does roofing.
Yeah.
I want to peel it back to its simplest form.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
people don't
And
like that. People don't like that. I've been saying that for a long time. They don't like that. We're a sales and marketing company that does roofing. I get a lot of, I get a lot of,
you're going to get a lot of hate, whatever. I don't care if you came into someone's model, like most people are running that model. You're a sales and marketing company that sells and markets roofing, because the reality is most people aren't actually out there roofing. Just because you're a good roofer doesn't mean you can run a good roofing company. And vice
yep,
versa. I'd probably make an awful roofer. I would probably piss some people off if I tried to get up on a roof and roof.
yep. It takes all the parts to make an actual business.
Yeah. Not enough chaos for you up on the roof.
No.
Too specific. There's a right way and a wrong way.
I actually really enjoy it. I just had to roof my I just had to weirdly roof my chicken coop.
Oh,
And
nice.
I find it, I'm that weird guy that likes painting too, though. I find it therapeutic. There's something about it. Same with
Nice.
mowing the lawn. I like mowing the lawn. There's something
Me
about
too.
mowing the lawn and seeing those fresh lines.
Yep.
Yeah. Scott T-Bay and I were talking on Roofer to Roofer the other night about uh he was, because he actually had done quite a bit of roofing early on, and tear offs, specifically tear offs, and he was just saying it was like the most fun. He would just enjoy it because it was therapeutic, just like ripping the shingles off, completely
Mm-hmm.
mindless. Like you could be up there chatting with your buddies and just ripping shingles off. You just said, yeah, the only thing was you can't step off the roof. You gotta you gotta remember where
Yeah.
the edge of the roof is. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, yeah, deep work. So
Basically, just about a commitment, like to learning a subject. And
yeah,
I still just continuously learn about the roofing industry, and I'm so committed to this. There is no real going back at this point.
yeah, you're fully in it. So I think that's uh that's something for me too, just entrepreneurship in general. So I and I'm sure all of us have had this experience. You know, you're at an event, you're at church or something, and someone's like, "Oh, I want to start my own business. Like, how do I start my own business? I want to do what you do." And the I don't know what y'all's answer is. My answer is always like, I do what I do because I can't help. I have absolutely no like ability to do anything else. I do this because I can't help myself. It was not a choice. It was not like I woke up one day and like weighed the options. It was more like No, this is the only choice for me. Anything else is just going to get me messed up. It's either going to be like I'm either going to, piss everybody else off, or I'm going to, just get very down on myself if I'm doing anything else. So I have to do this. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I really felt that. I felt kind of the need to like, I have to build this. I have to do this. I think a lot of that's competitive too. Of like, when I was at that previous company, like I really wanted to build it into a regional, on the map roofing company, and he had that capability. And it was unfortunate, but yeah, I left that company with that same mentality, and I don't want to be regional. He was big enough to where that could have happened. I personally want to be. I want to be the biggest fish in the Spokane pond. Like I want to dominate my market. We serve Spokane and North Idaho, so like I just those are kind of our two main markets, and I just want to be the top dog in those, and really serve those clients well. And that we have that. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah. Staying real focus. No, I like that a lot. How has in general those two markets been this season so far?
On fire.
Really?
On fire.
Is it just
We
because is it being driven by storms, or are you still getting a lot of retail, or
zero. We have zero insurance work right now. Thank you, God.
don't like having to worry about the insurance company?
No, no, no. We got hit by a hailstorm. We don't ever get hail. That's not our region. We get wind.
Yeah.
And fires. We don't ever get hail. But about 2 years ago, we had a freak hailstorm come through and dropped like 4-inch hail and just peppered an area that had no roofs meant for hail of that caliber. Just destroyed it. There's still people fighting for their siding. We have no siding labor in this market. So there's people that just have Swiss cheese for siding right now still, and fencing. The vinyl fencing got just chopped up, but that's all gone, thankfully, and all the stormers are out of our market, and it's back to kind of local businesses competing, and that's been nice. So I feel like a lot of people, their pie is shrinking, and for us, I feel like our pie is just going back to what it was before that storm. Definitely a slowdown a little bit, but you have to remember what it was like before the storm. I feel like a lot of local people in my market are just remembering the last 2 years of how busy and crazy it's been.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like that this year.
Yeah. It's kind of back to normal business.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
You just got to remember what that's like.
After coming off of the 2-year storm, this is something that John and I have talked about a lot that he deals with in Savannah, is like the people that are like, oh, we're just waiting for the next storm. That's like people that are just waiting around for a storm to come. Do you have, especially coming off a storm like that, do you have that at all there? Or
no, because it was so abnormal. The likelihood of us getting another hail event like that is so low. We get a lot of wind, right? We have a high likelihood of wind through here. We'll have windstorms that produce 120-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And there goes every 3-tab roof that exists. So we had a windstorm come in that's 60 miles an hour, and there's a couple local competitors winning some of those bids. We're waiting on some. I know we have some in our queue. We're just waiting on insurance. Wind is hard. Wind's a lot harder to prove. And the insurance companies are getting very difficult to deal with when it comes to wind.
Yeah, I feel like they've just been getting difficult in general.
Right.
They just really don't want to pay the payout.
No.
I think the golden age of insurance work is past.
Which is fine, which is great for me. I love retail. We get paid up front for our deposit. We get paid when the job is finished. The sales rep does not have to wait. We're not having to wait as a company. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's all interpersonal responsibility. Look at that. It's great. Please send those letters out. Insurance. Your roof is 15 years old. You need to replace it. Okay.
Yep.
Guess what? We offer financing too.
Yep.
Make it easy for you.
Do you?
Our power partners this year are insurance agents, like, because insurance agents, I guess I agree and disagree a lot of what they're doing. What's great is the insurance agents are able to say, "Hey, your roof, you got a 3 tab roof that's 25 years old. Like, why should we cover that fully?" Like, no, we're not. They're getting better about that, and so we're able to educate the homeowner too from a roofing perspective of why is your insurance company not wanting to cover that particular kind of shingle? Why are they recommending replacement? Here's the kind of system we can offer you. Oh, hey, by the way, you'll probably get a discount too because it's a class 4 shingle, a full rated system. So it I think viewing insurance agents as a partner instead of as a combatant needs to be a priority for some people this year,
Yeah.
because they're going to feed you work. They're going to feed you a lot of work.
Yeah. If you are on the same team, which I think the issue, and John, correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the issues that you're running into is like they're waiting around for the storm, which means they don't have a savings account set aside for home
Mm-hmm.
repairs. They don't have money like prepared. So I mean, I was that's pretty accurate, right? John, you run into that a lot where like they can't even pay for the retail roof if they wanted to.
They can't even pay their deductible. We have to finance their deductible. It's like $5,000. They can't pay for it. They have to finance it.
Yeah. How does that?
Well, John, you're in Savannah, right? So you've got neighborhoods where people have more money than Davy Crockett, paired with people that can't afford their deductible.
Yeah, so it's pretty diverse as far as socioeconomic levels. It's very true. There's a lot of people with a lot of money, and but there's way more people that are, I would call it more lower middle class, probably sub $100,000 family income, household income. And the cost of living is pretty high in Savannah comparatively to the South. So yeah, there's it's rough. It's rough if you own a home. It's very expensive based on most people's income to own homes and to maintain them. They just can't do it.
We've run into that into some of our pockets this year where the price, even with financing, like the monthly expense is like, I can't swing that right now.
Yeah.
And it's made us have to target different, luckily we know where the neighborhoods are, and we're pulling different lists to make sure we're targeting a customer that could afford our product and needs our product. Those are kind of two things that have to happen.
Yeah, what's shocking to me is though the $1 million plus houses, several $100,000 or $1 million plus houses, they're still deciding to choose the lower tiered contractor. It's
Mhm.
super frustrating because it's like you can afford this. You just bought $1 million house. Why are you trying to save a few $1,000s to
Mhm.
protect that $1 million house? It's odd.
What we're battling is, I think you made a comment on a couple of the groups of there's legitimate companies, branded, high Google reviews coming in, and they sell at cost essentially because they do so much volume every year that their kickbacks and their rebates on everything are kind of what they use to run the company. They make a couple million in that, and that's what they use to kind of run things. Have you run it? How much have you run into that? I know we've got it out here pretty bad.
Yeah, so I mean, it's super surprising to me to see this. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's like people are I don't know how people are selling it at 295, $300 a square. Like I don't understand how they're actually doing it. I can do math pretty easily like the next guy. But it's
Mhm.
like even with the cost of there must be their labor, I know for a fact they're 40% less they're paying labor 40% less than we do.
Mhm.
And so it's pretty wild because they keep that crew busy. The crew is not, the workmanship is horrible. And these really high end homes have horrible, horrible roofs. And then the same with they are being unethical, or they're just straight up lying about what they're actually installing. They're putting it on the paper like a GAF silver pledge. But I know our prices are very competitive for those accessories, those things. We don't install that, but I have very, very aggressive pricing for that material. And it's like, it doesn't add up.
Mhm.
It doesn't add up. So I don't know. Savannah is it's a decently large market for Georgia, but even then, no one's doing like 10 million.
Yeah.
They're probably not even doing 5 million. And so I'm like, how are you getting this type of rebate to make you to like live? So it's a very odd thing that we're combating. I mean, we're still getting good customers that understand good quality. They see excellent communication. They see we're following up consistently. Our team has good processes, so they're choosing a high level contractor. They know it too. They know that we're more expensive than basically anybody else. But we're selling jobs. It's a lot harder to do it right now.
Yeah. Where what are you doing for lead generation? What seems to be the golden, not the golden, but what seems to be working for you and what's not working for you?
Let me know what it is. I would love to know.
Yeah.
What's working out there, Josh?
I've got to run the numbers. I just increased I'm gonna rustle feathers with this. I just increased my Angie's budget to 3,000. That gives us about a lead a day. If we can connect with them, I believe we're at a 35% close ratio with them, which is not bad.
Do you have it
We
connected to
just
ProLine?
No, because they don't give you the real phone number.
Um,
Angie does
They
not.
give you
Angie number. They give you
they
like the
give you
Angie.
the Angie number, so we can't do any text automation until we actually connect with the homeowner.
Yep.
Oh, it's
And
Angie. This is maybe a new product. They've changed it.
Angie's leads.
Angie
I
leads or
think
something. Yeah.
Angie leads. That's interesting. I haven't heard that before. Maybe so you connect once you connect with them.
I'll send you an email when we're done. I'll forward you an email of
Yeah.
like what a lead looks like. They give us their name, their address. They'll give us the phone number, but it's the Angie's List phone number with an extension that you have to call because they
Yep.
track it on their end who you're calling and when you're
Yep.
calling. So you have to connect with that person. The issue is if they give you real information, it's very difficult to get the return back. And that just for that, the name, phone number, fake phone number, uh, address, and email address is about $200 plus for that info. And it goes out to
Yeah.
5 other people.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing the math right, that's $200 a lead, and you're closing 1 out of 3. That's $600 to acquire a customer.
Yep.
Plus, is that just the $3,000 just the ad spend, or is that on top of it? How does that work?
No, that's just the ad spend. That's your budget. Kind of similar to the way you can set up your LSA. I could tell Google that I'm prepared to spend 10 grand with you this month. It doesn't mean I'm going to spend 10 grand with them.
Yeah. So it's $600 ish for a customer. That is not bad.
It's not bad. It's high. Our close ratio is high enough, and my word of advice is whatever rep you get from Angie's List, they'll call you from their personal number. You can text them and stuff. Well, their Angie's number. Save their number, save their email, and just be on them about ones that aren't valid, and you'll get your return.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't, and that's frustrating, but a lot of them you do. To enough to where we're keeping them because they are closing, they are real. It does get us into a neighborhood to where then I still have to go through Brad Akers' class. I'm registered for it, but I got in before it went up to 97, thankfully, and we could start using that strategy more.
Yeah, I mean, paired with what you're doing, it'd be a good strategy. It's essentially, targeted postcards, door hangers,
Yep.
referral system, referral scripts.
Which is what we do as soon as we're in a neighborhood. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's working. And oh, I'm sorry, AJ.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah. Keep talking.
That, and then we're about to do a big Facebook ad campaign. So we're about to target all of Spokane minus a couple zip codes that we know we don't want to target. We're going to put it at a $50 a day ad spend, and we're going to run it for a month and kind of do an analysis on it and see if it was worth it.
Yeah. Are you going to use lead form ads, or are you going to push them to a landing page? What's your idea there?
I think we're going to use lead form ads. When we've pushed people to a landing page, I feel like they click on it and then they don't really go all the way through. I feel like the lead form page captures it. They tend to be a little better about filling it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll let my marketing manager decide what he wants to do.
Yeah. Either way, whether it's a landing page or lead form ads, I would 100% connect that into ProLine to a speed to lead campaign so that you guys are hitting them with an immediate text and email. That's going to
100%.
increase the return on that. I gotta send me what you have on Angie. That must be something new, because last time I talked to anyone about Angie, because we have our Angie integration and we had gotten that connected, and they were seeing almost double the number of leads from Angie turn into appointments by having it connected to ProLine versus not.
Okay.
But maybe that
Let
doesn't
me
work
find out.
anymore.
Maybe it's something that they email me. Maybe the leads form in the dashboard. Maybe they give the real phone number. I'll have to look. But
Yeah, I think it may be through the integration, because the integration that we have now, it's been at least a year since I've helped anyone set up the Angie integration, or really had to or talk to anyone about it. So it's possible that Angie has changed it, but it also is possible that they're sending that kind of fake number through the email to you, but then through the integration they do send the actual user's number. That's possible.
which would be preferred, because we'd like to get those speed to leads going on them. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if they are sending the like masked phone number, you can still speed to lead with email for Angie.
right,
Even if
which we do.
that's,
Yep.
yeah. So that is definitely something that would work. Oh, you do that for Angie right now already?
Just the email portion of it.
Oh, but you do have it connected through the integration.
No, I manually go in and
Manually.
input it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we're also making sure this is month 2 of running Angie, so we wanted to make sure it was even worth it before we took next steps of integrating it.
Yeah, makes sense. Pass
But
along.
they seem to be worth it. They seem to be enough. They seem to produce enough to continue them. So
Yeah. I've talked to so many people about Angie, and I've seen good success with it. Sounds like you're getting some good success with it. And like, obviously there's some things about Angie that are not great. Like their sales strategy is very aggressive. They have like some of their overall like business practices are not great. But at the end of the day, like if you can figure out the right system, the leads are leads. Like, and then the leads that are bad, like you're saying, it's like you just got to be on top of them about it.
yeah.
So
And
that's
you're
the
going to
thing.
run into some that frustrate you, but overall, I've had a pleasant experience with Angie. Been happy, been profitable. So
Yeah, I think they get they get an overly bad rap. And someone's gonna listen to that and be like, well, no. They deserve their bad rap because of XYZ thing. But I think it's just all a balance. It's like um you gotta have the right systems in place. You gotta go into it with your eyes open, knowing that
yeah.
like what Angie is. But um well, this has been really great. Let's kind of start to wrap up. We usually will end
Sweet.
with, oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say
I
something?
was just saying, sweet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we usually wrap up with a question, and that question
Okay.
is just, what are you looking forward to the most this week?
What am I looking forward to the most this week?
Yeah, just fun. Doesn't have to be roofing related, just anything.
Doesn't have to be. I guess I'm ready for it's this month we're going on a vacation. That's what I'm looking forward to. So not necessarily this week, but this month I'll be gone for 12 days and
Sweet.
the business will be running on its own. Calls are going to get forwarded to
Question.
my operations guy, and I'll have my phone available for people that need to get a hold of me, but our main office line is going to get pushed to him, and he's going to schedule jobs during that week and run production, and it's going to be weird.
What type? First of all, where are you going?
I'll be in your neck of the woods. So
Really?
we'll be in Buford. I was gonna shoot you a message later.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, Buford, Georgia?
Buford, South Carolina. Buford. It's like across the way. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's like Buford, Georgia. I mean, it's not
That's
necessarily a
Atlanta.
vacation
No.
destination.
It's
There's
Buford. It's Buford.
Buford.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People like
But
it.
yeah, we'll be there for we fly in and then we'll be there for 4 days and then we go to Charleston for another 4 days.
Cool.
So, the Charleston part, we're right on Isle of Palms and we're right on the beach. And that'll be the part where like my phone will hopefully be unglued for me.
Nice.
Yeah, you
That's a good
challenge
feeling.
yourself on like and just set your team up. Be like, what could possibly? Why do they possibly need to talk to you?
Yeah.
Like, there are things that I always try to challenge my team. Like, and is ironically they figure it out most of the time. They're like, I have this question about something, and then I will be not able to answer my phone for 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll figure it out. I'm like, so how about next time you can just make that same decision? I support you. I trust you. You care about this business. I know you don't want to burn it down. Just make the decision. It's totally fine. And
And
so,
luckily I've got people in a role that can do that. Like my whole plan for this year was for Patriot to be selling roofs, not Josh. And I think we have 17 jobs in our production pipeline, and I haven't sold a single one.
it's awesome.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's been a weird year to kind of be in a support role, not really a sales role, but I've got to take on a couple more because it's kind of I like selling. I'm just naturally a salesperson. I got to do some selling,
Yeah. I gotta get out
but
there, have some fun. That's good stuff.
it's been cool to kind of see the business function correctly and just some help. I made some key hires. I hired 2 people. That's been helpful, and actually like giving them what they need to do and releasing things that I was doing last year off to them.
Nice.
Love that.
Congrats.
Love it.
Yeah, love it.
So
John, what
awesome.
about you? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, the roof. We're doing a nice roof. I've been following for 27 days, trying to follow up with them. ProLine works, but work also use, sales strategies and follow up with people. They knew they needed a roof. They knew I needed it. They just didn't want to do it. But I love it that it's retail. They're super great folks. Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to doing some production. We did a good roof last week. We're doing another roof this week. I'm just thankful for any roof. It's so slow for us. I'm thankful for every job that we sell right now. So it's yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
Good stuff. I think the biggest thing right now is we're getting ready to make a decision on our new logo for ProLine. So this is the old logo, which we love, but we're a little bit more than just a phone service now, and this is pretty phone servicey. So now that we're a full CRM platform, we are needing to like have the logo reflect that. So we're playing around with different logo ideas and concepts. So there's definitely a lot of things going on, but that's something in the next week I'm looking forward to getting figured out and decided on.
T-shirts. Can't wait.
Hopefully it doesn't have a roof line in it.
It does. It does. I love our original logo.
We have a couple options. We have a couple
Triangle Club. Don't be part of the Triangle Club.
Oh, Lord.
There's a couple options. I'll say you get to see it. You get to see it.
All right. We'll do a
All
big
right.
vote on it.
That's
It's
right.
already been voted. It's been voting on as been speaking right now. Just
People are
All
the
right,
votes are
well,
coming in.
I'll hop on and go take a look at them after this.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll
Awesome,
wrap
guys.
up there. Thanks for joining us, Josh, and thanks everybody else for tuning in. And we will see everybody next week.
Bye, everybody.